Hi everybody, it's Jared here. So tomorrow night I'm going to the dog show uh, for in Fort Worth. Well, well, it's not tomorrow, but I'm leaving tomorrow for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, dog shows are typically uh, the type of dog show I'm going to is called a conformation show, which they judge against a breed standard. The breed standard is the what the perfect dog of that breed is. So, for example, if I had a beagle in the show ring, it'd be judged against the perfect beagle that's listed in the standard. And that applies to every single breed, and that's what judges are supposed to judge on. Although, judging is subjective, as we've seen in any sport, whether it's dog showing, figure skating, pageants, judging is subjective. So, anyhow, I'm going to give you a brief beginner's guide because this weekend I'm going to Fort Worth for a dog show out of town. I am going to start, I'm trying to save up for my own show dog, but in the meantime, I'm going to try to go to shows and travel and meet more people that are in the sport and try to have connections, just like I did when I went to cons. I'm still going to go to cons in the near future. I don't know what con yet. That's again, we will cross that bridge when I get there. As I said before, I've been trying to say that I've been trying to retire from drag, but stuff, but I'm saying that's not going to be for another year or so. I do apologize for my appearance. I'm here at work and I'm trying to just kill time and give you all a brief introduction to dog shows before. This is kind of the Reader's Digest version, but it's still, I'm going to a show this weekend and there's going to be terminology that I'm going to say probably. So dog shows typically start at the beginning of the day. They start usually around 8 or 9 in the morning, which is when breed judging shows. So every dog that's entered in a show, if they're competing for regular breed classes, they start off with the breed, and of course, the dog that wins the breed in every breed in each breed goes on to the group, which is later on in the day. So the breed begins. There are several classes. They have the non-champion dogs, which are the males, and they have the non-champion bitches, which is the females. Now, when you hear the word bitch at dog shows, it's not a bad word. It's a term for female dogs. So when they say that bitch is nice, they're not talking about, a person. I mean, they could be, but I mean, for the most part, they're not going to call someone a bitch and say they're nice if they're talking about a person. So, anyhow, so first comes the classes. They enter, all the classes. I think it's puppy, 12 to 18-month-olds, bred by, amateur owner handle, which is only for dogs that are shown by their owners, or could be the breeders, but bred by is shown by the breeders. But amateur, open, American bred, there's a lot of classes. All those dogs they do the classes with whoever's entered. After they're entered, they all come back into the ring again for a winner's dog or winner's bitch. And the winners is when they get their points towards their championship. In the United States, where I'm located, you have to get two major wins, which is a major is a 3-point, 4-point, or 5-point. The most you can win at a show, for one show, a class dog is 5. Now, it is possible to finish in a weekend if there are multiple shows going on. So this weekend there's 3 shows going on. Well, 2 all breed shows and a bunch of specialties. Now, which I'm going off topic, but all breed means literally that all the breeds, any breed a dog can enter. That are eligible to show. AKC registered, purebred, full registration, all that fun stuff that's required to be shown in the ring. And then there's specialties. Now, specialties are for a specific breed only. So if there's a Pembroke Welsh Corgi specialty, or an Irish Setter specialty, or a Lab specialty, that means only that breed is competing. They're still doing all the classes. They're still all competing for best in specialty, or best in specialty showed. Now, usually those specialties have majors, which means that they're trying to get towards their championship. So those majors when there's majors, that just means that there's a higher chance that someone's going to finish, or someone's going to get their first major win, or their last. They might need one more. They might need 2 or 3 points, and they might need their last major. But the requirements to become a champion is you need 3 to 5 point majors. You need 2 of those, and then the rest of your points you get like singles and they have to be under 3 different judges. So once you have your 15 points, you become a champion, and that's, you know, the AKC will confirm that. But all the dogs compete for winners, and the judge picks the winner's dog and winner's bitch, and those are the 2 that get the points. Now, there is another, like there's after winner's dog is picked, they pick a reserve, which is so they're the runner up to the winners. Reserve winner's dog, reserve winner's bitch. Winner's dog, all it is a just in case something happens where the dog that wins the points did not get is found ineligible for whatever reason. You know, sometimes it does happen, but I don't think it happens as much as people think it does. I just think, from what I've seen, it just means that hypothetically, if your dog was entered in the wrong class and you win winners from that class, you could lose your points that way. So make sure you're entered in the correct classes. After all the class dogs and class bitches are done, they're brought back into the ring with the champions. Now, the dogs that already are champions, this is called best of breed competition. So they bring all the champions don't have to compete in the winners class because they already have their championship points. They already are champions. They're probably working for their grand, which is a different. After a dog becomes a champion, they decided to add grand champion, which is I believe 25 points in 3 majors. I believe so. That's what last I remember reading. And grand champions were added after I started showing as a kid. It wasn't a thing when I was showing, but it is. I'm coming back to it and learning more about how everything works because there have been some changes. They compete for best of breed. So the champions are judged, and then the winner's dog and the winner's bitch go in, and they're sent around the ring. Usually they're sent around the ring, and then the judge picks best of breed, best of winners, best of opposite sex, and best and select. Those are usually the most common, and best of breed odor handled, but that's usually after best of breed. Now, if the dog that wins best of breed happens to be an owner handled dog as well, that dog automatically wins best of breed owner handled. So if your dog's a champion or your dog's a dog that's owner handled and it wins best of breed, you automatically win the breed for owner handled. So I think it just streamlines. I think they do that because it streamlines. There's no point in trying to judge them again. So the winners, best of breed is just the dog, the best of the breed that's going to go on to the group. Best of breed owner handle is the dog that's handled by an owner handle for the best of breed, the owner handled groups. Now, owner handled groups are not offered at every show, but most shows do have them now as it's a less stressful, more fun it makes it more fair. So owner handlers are basically just their dogs are shown by their handler, not professionals. They don't work for professionals. They are literally amateurs. That's literally what I'm technically an amateur because I don't get paid to do to go to dog shows. I'm not a handler yet. I'm still working on that as far as I'm starting to save up for my own dog so I can overhandle. But if I become I don't mind being someone's hand as far as helping them. I don't mind that at all. So I want to do that because I'm also going to have a little pouch of treats and drinks and not drinks, treats, and I'm gonna have poop bags in my little pouch. And I was told yesterday to have mints, which after mints, just so because apparently dogs can sense in your breath if you're nervous, which I did not know that. That is something I did not know, and that's good to know. And I'm gonna remind myself to get mints later on before I go out of town. So, sorry. Anyway, the next thing on the list after best of breed and best of breed owner handled is the groups. Now, the groups usually take place around in the afternoon. Usually breed judging is done by like 1:32. sometimes prejudging is still going on when the groups start, because they do the groups in order of how early they finish. So if the herding group finishes their prejudging earliest, they first, then they get to go first. Some people just don't stick. I've noticed that some people that win the group stick around for the groups, which they probably feel they don't have a chance of winning, or they just would rather go home or not put more stress on their dog, which I understand, but and that's their call. I mean, their dog could place in the group. You never know. You never know with shows who's going to place and who's not going to place. I mean, I'm pretty good at predicting who I think is going to place in the group. I see it. If a dog sticks out to me in a way that in a positive way, that you can tell that is a show dog that belongs out there and wants to be there. And contrary to most people, what people think, show dogs are well taken care of. They are spoiled. They are treated well. And I've seen them that some of them do other things besides showing. Some of them do agility. Some of them do fast cat, obedience, rally. There are so many things dogs can do besides showing, but that's just some dog shows have obedience and rally too, depending on the show. Like the corporate show, for example, has rally, obedience, and conformation. Conformation is what I was in as a junior, and and junior and being a junior is a you're judged on your skill as a handler versus the dog, and you never know who's gonna you can tell every dog most dogs in the show ring want to please. No, they will still dog though. Some dogs will. I always say when a dog makes a mistake or does something silly or has a moment of antics, even if they're well trained, well behaved. Dogs being dogs. Dogs are gonna dog. I still think that's funny to this day. I've seen dogs, like in the movie Best in Show, dogs will get excused if they show aggression or they aren't, aren't in the ring, or they're too tall. All those things are actual. Just being excused doesn't mean a dog is bad. It just means that in that moment your dog wasn't acting right, and even champion show dogs make mistakes. So it's the whole theory of everybody makes mistakes, and sometimes maybe there's something in the air or something. Maybe the dog sensed something that wasn't right, and it couldn't have been. It might have been with the judge. It might have been with someone in the audience. You never know. That's why when I'm sitting at shows, and I try to be quiet. I try to be respectful. I don't do anything that will distract their dogs, because I know people are busy handling and they're trying to. I respect that, and I'm not going to. And as far as if a dog wants to sniff me and go up to me, I'm not going to encourage it unless the handler or owner lets me do it. I'm not going to touch someone's dog without permission, because again, even in dog shows, consent. Dogs are allowed to have consent too, and it's you don't want to mess up all of me. I have nothing but respect for people who groom dogs. Like, there are breeds of dog that I love that I would love to have, but I know that I would not be able to do the grooming on them. Poodles are an example. Afghans are another. Those are breeds that I think they're gorgeous. They're beautiful. They're showmen or showwomen. I just don't see myself having one, because I don't want to do the grooming wrong and be torn down because I did it wrong. I'm not saying that people won't tear you down regardless, but from what I've seen so far, most dog show people are supportive of each other, especially if you're trying to get back into the sport or be in the sport, because they want people, just like with pageants and drag, entries are lower than they were ever before. People are not coming out as much to these events, because dog shows, just like any other sport or hobby, is expensive. Traveling costs money. And Corpus Christi only has their show in January every year, and that's the only local show. I had a show at Beeville one year, but that's so. So the groups, everybody competes in the group that won the breed. The judge picks his top 4 in the group, and the winner of that group goes on to Best in Show, and then the 7 group winners compete for Best in Show and reserve Best in Show, and that's literally dog shows in a day. Now that's what an all breed show does. And now in specialties, it's a little bit different. They go through all the classes, they judge all the classes, they judge the champions, and then they pick best of breed and all that stuff. The same way they do in breed during an all breed show, but specialties are a little bit different because they're just judging one breed, and usually they're done within a couple hours. But they usually have a schedule. Now, dog shows typically have a program or a judging program which says the times and dates, the times for your ring time. So one breed might be at 9 o'clock one day, might be at 10 or 12 the next day. It depends on the schedule. I have a schedule for Fort Worth already. They've already posted it. I was able to find it and screen cap it, so that way I know where I'm going for each. There are some people who might need help, so I'm going to probably be at those rings in case they need help. And I'm going to do my best to be supportive and not, if someone needs me to hold their dog ringside, or they need me to go into the ring for like that second for winners or for best of breed when they have a special that they're showing. Also, the word special in dog show terms means a champion, which I'm going to be using dog show lingo. People think I don't know dog show lingo, but I used to handle and I used to be around dog shows a lot. And I watch shows on TV. I'm watching on AKC. Now there's AKC.TV, which has shows now too. And I'm glad that they have shows. Now, they're not going to have any dog shows again until, I think, April. But there was one that they had this past weekend in Kentucky, which was on Saturday. But that is pretty much it as far as the dog show. I am going to be doing photos, videos. I'm going to try to do what I've done before, where I've done where travel videos, where I do travel videos, where I'm going to put them on the road and all that stuff. Being on the bus is I'm going to be leaving at 2:30, 2:45 tomorrow to go on the bus to go to Fort Worth. I'm not getting in till late, which again, not my fault. That's the bus schedule, not me. I have to transfer, I believe, in Dallas, which it's weird. Every time I've taken the bus, it's always, it says I don't have to change buses. I have to get off anyway because they're going to clean the bus or whatever. They have a 30-minute layover. But I'm going to tell the bus driver that I'm supposed to get back on this bus. I need one of those reboard passes because I do not want to get myself kicked off the bus or miss the bus. My goal, I shouldn't have to reboard a bus when I'm already on it, that's, well, I understand cleaning the bus, but I also feel like it's just like, y'all should just let the people who are already on that don't need to get off, because that's what my ticket says. I'm only following what my ticket says, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. But anyway, I will be at the show trying to take pictures. I'm going to try to get video if I can, but we shall see what happens.